everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of All About African Violets. I'm really glad you're here today. All About African Violets is musically sponsored by Ted Yoder. You can hear and buy his wonderful music at www.tedyoder.com. It's been a great week here in Chicagoland. It's been, we have hot days, then it cools off a little, then we have a thunderstorm, then it's hot again. But today, it's Saturday, and it was a beautiful day in Chicagoland. I spent most of the day at the Chicago Botanic Gardens at the Illinois State African Violet Show. So I have some live footage of the show for you to see. Well, it was live while I was taking it. It won't be live when you see it. But I'm very excited about that, and I hope that you will enjoy it. So that'll be coming up later in the show. And I wanted to tell you, I keep meaning to tell you, that All About African Violets now has a Facebook page. So if you are on Facebook and you would like to, there's not a whole lot there yet, but I'd love it if you will go out and take a look, and like the page. It's just search for All About African Violets and you will find it very easily. I'd also like to tell you that Daryl Hoover's video blog that I mentioned to you last week, I linked to his written blog, and apparently he is not putting his little videos on that blog. They are on his Hoover's Hybrids Facebook page. So while you're out there on Facebook, you can look that up, and he's got lots of great information on his little snippets that he's doing on a kind of a daily basis. They're little short, like 2 and 3 minute bits, and they're just great, full of really good info. So you guys might like to see that. I'd like to ask if there's anybody from the AV Brat Pack, that's an online African Violet group, if somebody might leave a comment for me on the website. I had someone ask me about the group, and I thought it was a Yahoo group, but I haven't been able to locate it properly on Yahoo. So if someone would leave a link there, that would be awesome. That would be great. I'd love to say hi to everyone in Serbia who is watching the podcast. I got a great message and saw lots of hits on the website from Serbia. It's just kind of wild to know that I'm here in Chicagoland and there are people on the other side of the planet who are watching and enjoying the podcast. So thanks very much. I have really good news. I talked to my friend Tammy, I mentioned her last week, the proverbial knitter, and she said that I can say video. So I'm all happy I can say video. So I know that it will take a little bit of time. I want to kind of give you an idea about the footage that you're going to see later in the show. I just shot it, so you'll see it from my point of view as I'm walking through the show, and it kind of there are just cuts and pieces in each spot, and there is some extraneous noise because obviously there are people at the show. It's not like here in my son where we only hear either a thunderstorm, a train, or the air conditioner going on. So there is a lot of noise, so just be aware that will be a little different than usual. Which kind of takes us really pretty quickly right into tips and treasures this week. Nothing came in the mail this week, so I don't have anything to show you that way. But and speaking of the air conditioner, there it goes. So now the plants are going to flap around again. So this one, the spider one, looks like it's growing out of my head today. That's wild. I was asked, I had a comment on the website, was asking some more information about putting a leaf down to propagate. And I'm going to film a little demonstration of how to do that and talk more about that next week. So be sure to come back next week. And if that's something that you are really looking for, that will be a great beginner tip to share with you. And I do have a beginner tip to share with you this week. And I got this tip from Gary Makita from Gary's Out of Africa. You've heard me mention him before. And you'll hear him talk about this a little bit on the footage that's coming up, because I was lucky enough to kind of get him to answer a few quick questions. It's just a very short interview. But it's a tip that Gary, I asked him what's the best tip that he would give to a beginning grower. And what he said is to find a club somewhere that you can join. And because there are always people with great knowledge, and I just think that's such a great tip. You know, if you don't have a local club somewhere near you that you can join, I hope you'll think of the podcast as your virtual affiliate, your virtual club that you can come and visit every week. Most clubs, most actual physical clubs meet once a month, in my experience, and there is a way to, you can go out onto the AVSA website. That's at avsa.org. And under the affiliates tab, you can click on that, and then on the sidebar on that page over on the left, you'll see a list of regions. And those are general geographic areas of the US and Canada. And you can take a look there and see if there is an affiliate that, if you're here, you know, in the US, if there is an affiliate that might be close by that you could join or at least visit and see if you like it. So that's always something to keep in mind, and it's a great tip. So I have to thank Gary Makita for that. Thank you, Gary. So we're going to go now and take a quick look at what is on the stands, and I have some exciting news. You'll see it. You'll see it very shortly. So I'll be right back. Hi everybody. It's time for a look at what's on the stands. This is my one little standard, Western Moon, that is still growing really well. Here is Rob's Antique Rose. Here are the rest of the plants on the stand this week. And here is Witch Doctor. It got a little wet in that bag, so I opened it up and it's drying out a little bit right now. So that's this week's look. Hey everybody, out here in the sunroom taking a look at the leaves. I took the lid off this particular tray, and I think you can see here that after only 1 week here, I've got stuff coming up. This is Optimara Hawaii. So things are sprouting. They just needed a slightly warmer atmosphere. Everything else, I've got another one coming up over here. Excuse me, I have to shift over. This one, again, just starting to come up, and it's also an Optimara. This is Optimara Little Wichita Girl. So those guys are going. Things are looking good. Let's take a quick look over here in the other stand and see what we see. Oh, the air conditioner just turned on. And things are growing. Nothing is really sprouting yet over here, but at least you can kind of see what's going on here. Everything is definitely much warmer. Oh, I take it back. I think, hang on, sorry. Right here, we've got a little plantlet coming up there, and that is Optimara Little Creek Girl. Sorry for tilting the camera there. So the Optimara is all doing really well in the sprouting area. We'll be back shortly. Isn't it cool to see those little baby plantlets just starting to poke up out of the dirt like that? I love that when that happens. It's so exciting. You know, you put these leaves down and then you kind of let them go. And then one day you take a look and there they are. They're sprouting new plantlets, baby plantlets. So only 1 week upstairs in this it's warmer up here, and they've done really well. And interestingly, I thought it was very interesting that it's all the Optimara plants that are sprouting first. Has anyone else who grows violets already, have you had that experience that those really grow, sprout more quickly than other varieties? I'd love to hear. Leave me a comment on the website. So it's fun to show you that. Everything else on the stands, everything's growing. Things are moving forward, slowly but surely. So one of the things that has been frustrating for me when I started the podcast, it was because I was starting over. And that's been hard. So many times I've wished that I had a plant that, you know, that I could pick up and show you right here on the camera and really demonstrate, you know, what I'm talking about in terms of maybe the sizes of the plants like we talked about last week. So that's been a little frustrating. So it's going to be very fun. That's one of the things I really enjoyed. I've actually looked at the show footage already that I shot today when I was at the show. And at least I'll get to show you some plants at show. They're not my plants, but they're beautiful plants. And I hope that you'll enjoy seeing them. So let's get the bail money ready. We're going to the show. Hang on, and I'll see you on the other side. Here I am in Bernstein Hall, everybody. And this is the beginning of the Illinois African Violet Society's state show. I'm going to be cutting in and out and trying to show you a few different things. This table that you're seeing now, let's see if I can. That'll be the honor court where the show winners will eventually be displayed. This is a table full of violets. This is the wonderful stuff you can expect to find when you come to an African Violet show.
There's name tags over at the entrance.
Oh, and I just got told I can go and get my name tag over at entry, so I will do that shortly. Okay, here I am over at my friend Gary Makita's booth at the Illinois State Show, and as you can see, he has a lot of what we call the other Gesneriads, a lot of Apicius, and these are Calarias, right here. Trying not to tilt the camera. And here are some Streptocarpus. Gary is very well known for the Streptocarpus plants that he often has. So let me see if I can talk him into saying hello. Gary.
Hello, everybody.
This is Gary Makita, you guys.
Nice to meet you, if I haven't already.
You probably have. Tell us a little bit about Out of Africa, Gary. How did you get started?
Oh, man, this is a long story, but years ago, about 25 years ago, I was taken under the wing of a couple fabulous ladies, and the addiction set in, and I've hated them two ladies ever since. But it has turned into be a nice hobby and a nice little side hustle. Don't have a large business, but it keeps me busy and I'm happy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Gary, what is your favorite plant that you like to grow?
Streptocarpus.
Streptocarpus, why?
Basically the variety of the blooms. I find them somewhat easier to grow than the African violets, basically because of the foliage. Suckers in Streptocarpus are welcome.
Okay.
Suckers in African violets will, create a lot of work for a grower.
Right.
So basically, same care, same culture, but I find them somewhat easier.
Great. What's your best tip to give a beginning grower?
The best tip to give a beginning grower is to acquaint yourself with a club and prosper from the wealth of all the club members. They could just give you a ton of information and help.
I would agree with that very much.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, thank you for giving us a few minutes on All About African Violets.
All right. Well, thank you, too.
All right. See you later.
Toodaloo.
Right now, you are looking at what's called the Honor Court. This table has the best plants in the show here. And let's go over here. This plant is Rob's Fuddy Duddy, and it is the best semi-miniature in the show. And this plant is a trailer. Remember we talked about trailers a week or so ago? They look kind of like a snowball, multiple crowns and lots of blossoms. This one's called Linda Darnell, and it is the best trailer in the show. And as we move over here, this is Winsome. Oops, sorry, a little bump there in the camera. And it is the best miniature in the show. Remember we talked about different sizes. There are miniatures, semi-miniatures, standards, trailers. This is the best standard in the show. It is called Heinz sentimental. It is also the best in show. It's a beautiful plant. It's a standard, a variegated standard. Now, as we move on over here, this is the runner-up to second. This is the second best plant in the show. It's called Ma's Pillow Talk. Another standard, another variegated plant, and it's beautiful. And then over here we have a few more. This is the AVSA collection. Now, an AVSA collection is the African Violet Society of America. Those are 3 plants, 3 registered varieties, all of the same type, and these all happen to be standards. And from your left to your right, you see Tomahawk, Irish Laughter, and Chris. So here's Tomahawk. Here's Irish Laughter. And here's Chris. Folks, here's one of the lines of plants. You can see there are plants in each class. Some have red ribbons, some have blue ribbons. Some even have a green ribbon, which means best in class. An African Violet show, all the plants are judged on their own merits. So as you take a look, you can see that many of these are what we call blue ribbon plants, and they're all lovely. Now here we are looking at some miniatures. These are the small ones, the teeny weenies. These plants are all 6 inches or less in diameter. And they are nice looking plants. Some red ribbons, some blue. Here are a few more. This is a trailer. This one is called Kentucky Rambler. And again, you can see that multiple crowns, looks kind of like a snowball. This is another trailer called Linda Darnell. African Violet shows, AVSA sponsored shows, all have a class for, and multiple classes actually, for what we call other gesneriads. These are plants that are cousins of the African Violet. In this class, this is a plant called a primulina that used to be called a chirita. It was renamed genetically, or I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. I know that it had to do with genetics and science. There's science and math involved, so of course I'm not very good about that, but they're now called primulinas. And then this plant is a petrocosmia, again, a cousin of the African Violet. Then we have a section over here. These are other gesneriads in bloom. This is a Sininja. This is a Caleria. This is an Apicia in bloom. And another one. This is a tiny little Sininja. And this is another primulina in bloom. Well, I want to show you a few more of these plants. These are all Apicias, and the majority of these are Gary Makitas. You met him earlier, a little interview with him. And these things are huge. I'm going to try to put my hand here so you can see. There's my hand, and you see how big the plant is. They are big. This one is called Apicia Jim's Lemon Zest. And here's another one, again, about the same size, a big one. It's called Apicia Catherine. There's a lot of extraneous noise here, so I hope you can hear me. And this one is Apicia Jim's Red Trailer. And this one is really big. This is called Apicia Brown Beauty. And I actually have to back up for you to see it. It's really gigantic. And now these Apicias come in all sizes. Here is a little tiny one. And here's another one, medium-sized one. folks, here we are at the design division. Every show has a design division, and this is where the theme of the show is carried out. Our show theme this year is Ms. Fox Goes to State. So all of these designs have something to do with Illinois, with the state of Illinois. In this one, this is the second best design in the show. You can see Abraham Lincoln's in there, and this is called Higher Learning 2. We do have some t-shirts all around from the different Illinois state schools, so that carries out the theme as well. This class was called Tall, Tall Trees, and this is a terrarium. It's kind of hard for me to get it all in there for you to see, but you can kind of take a look. And this class is called Stars and Stripes. This is interpretive plant arrangements. This one looks kind of like a jail. It actually has pictures of all of the Illinois governors who have gone to jail. That'd be Governor Kerner, Governor Ryan, Governor Walker, and Governor Blagojevich. This one is called Round and Round, Ups and Downs. It's a little Ferris wheel with some small violets there. Now, this is the best design in the show, and the light is kind of coming from the back. It's hard for me. Let me try to maybe go this way. This is called, it's a mobile, and it's hanging, let's see, here we go. It's hanging from a post, and it's got beach glass. I can get close to one, and then the violets, the blossoms, are there on the glass. This is the best design in the show. And this is Tall, Tall Trees 1. This is the... Sorry, the light is not great. This is the last design in the show, and this class was called Illinois African Violet Society. And one other thing that is a feature at every show, every African Violet show, is what we call an educational table, where there's information about growing violets, and about local clubs, and about the AVSA. So now I'm just going to try to give you a kind of a panorama here and see all the folks who've come out here today to see the show and to shop with some of our vendors who are here, commercial vendors. It's a lot of fun. And folks, I thought I'd give you one more look from this side of the room to take a look at the Illinois State African Violet Society's annual show for 2012. Hi everybody, you can see the light has changed a little bit. The sun is going down. It's about 8 o'clock now in the evening here in Chicagoland, and this might be a good time to tape. My face doesn't look quite so orange in this light. Yay! Boy, I sure hope you enjoyed watching the footage of the show today and got to see some wonderful plants, got to meet Gary Makita, and just see kind of what a show can be like. This show was a kind of a smaller show, but lovely nonetheless. I've been to shows of all sizes, and they're always beautiful. It's just great to see all the plants. Well, I did tell you last week before we move on to keep moving forward. I did say that I was going to show you Dr. Jeff Smith's column in the magazine, and his column is In Search of New Violets, and he's from the Indiana Academy at Ball State University in Muncie. And this is his column in the most recent magazine. So if you have an interest in hybridization, his column is a great reference, and it appears every month in African Violet magazine. You can get African Violet magazine by joining the AVSA. Over on the website, on the sidebar on the right, you'll see a link that says Join the AVSA, and if you click that, it will bring up a PDF file that you can print out and send in to join. You can. There are membership here in the U.S. They also have an international membership, and I hope that's something you'll consider. It's a great magazine. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Well, that takes us to keep moving forward. I hope that your week to come will be great, that you will keep moving forward. I will be moving forward down in the basement because I came home with some plantlets today from the show, and I will, which is great because now I'll have a few more leaves that I can show you how to put down for next week. But I'll have some work to do this week with those plantlets and to get them ready. I will likely just take leaves from most of them and just put them down to propagate. We'll see how that goes. Well, I thank you for joining me again this week, and I hope that gosh, I'm stumbling over my words. I hope that you will come back next week. I hope you'll tell your friends. The podcast is available on the website, allaboutafricanviolets.com. There is an RSS link there if you choose to get your podcasts and info that way. It's also available from iTunes. Thank you for the reviews and the star ratings. If you are downloading the podcast from iTunes, please, if you can, leave a review, leave a star rating. It's really, really helpful. Thank you very much. I hope that your days in the coming week will be filled with all the things you love. Good growing. See you next time.